Yes, so we are speaking to Comrade Moreblessing Nyambara from the ARTUZ. ARTUZ is the Amalgamated Zimbabwe Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, if I spelled it correctly. And she is the Gender and Social Welfare Secretary of the ARTUZ trade union. You are welcome to our platform, Comrade Moreblessing.
Thank you very much, Comrade Fontes.
Yes. Well, to start off, I want us to briefly talk about the situation in Zimbabwe. We know that Zimbabwe has been in a perennial economic crisis, whereby we see a lot of workers migrating, leaving the country to seek greener pastures. Maybe take us through briefly what the situation workers face to cause this mass migration, this continuous migration to other countries here in the neighboring states and also abroad.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just to make it for the record, not only the education sector is affected in Zimbabwe, but all civil servants are affected in Zimbabwe because of eroded salaries, which happened since 2018 when we had the new dispensation in. We were using US dollars as the official currency. So there was an introduction of our local currency, which started at 1:1 rate with the US dollars. So this deteriorated, and it deteriorated together with our salaries. So at one point in 2018, we were actually receiving an equivalent of 30 US dollars as salary per month. For teachers or the rest of civil servants.
Okay.
The minimum wage was now at the rate of $35. So this is where the crisis started to build, and it built up to now. It's not even much better, though right now they are receiving almost 200 US dollars. But initially we were receiving 540 minimum. So this is what the civil servants, the major fight between the civil servants and the government is that the civil servants, they say, give us what you were giving us in 2018. At least it's not enough, but at least we can start from there, and then maybe we build up from there. So maybe I will concentrate much on the education sector where I come from.
Sure. So the bet is workers are saying, give us the equivalent of what you were giving. So in terms of the bond, is it the bond notes? Is it still the bond notes?
Yes, it is. Now it is the Zimbabwean dollar.
Oh, now the Zim dollar is back.
Yeah. There was bond note, the bond note replaced by the Zim dollar, but it's all the same. It's all the same. So yeah, maybe I can.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So if you look at the education sector, is always locked in a dilemma. You know, during the, maybe I will also explain on the closure of schools during the pandemic. Yeah. So the continued closure of schools has severely compromised access to education and further harmed learner well-being.
Yeah.
So we are facing a situation whereby if this continues in the next 10 years, we'll have a generation which has been totally affected their education. Because it's now 3 years without learning in Zimbabwe. Because if we see the government has cut spending on education, parents are severely incapacitated to fund the education, and teachers are unpaid. And when they demand better salaries, they face unheard of repression. You know, the government is response strategy to solve this crisis in education is really inadequate and underfunded. So that's where we always have this fight, you know. So if I look on how it affects the learners themselves, we see that before the COVID-19 crisis, we had already our own problems, like the coming of Cyclone Idai. It destroyed many schools in the eastern parts of Zimbabwe, which have never been, infrastructure-wise, they have never been resuscitated. So still, that was another challenge which was always there. And also the issue of drought, which has been always also there. And we have many vulnerable children and those without parents who suffered loss of their parents due to HIV. So we have that already before the COVID. And then the COVID come now. They came, the closure of schools, and now our learners, the access to education was severely compromised since Zimbabwe has no remote learning policy, no support infrastructure, and teachers already, we are incapacitated to deliver remote learning. Most teachers, they don't even own a laptop, neither a very good phone, especially for those in rural areas, for them to be able to deliver lessons or lectures on the online. So it's really, really difficult. Then we also look at the safety of learners and teachers from coronavirus. It's also a major concern, and in our fragile school system. We have lost many teachers to COVID-19. Not that, to go to COVID-19 between 2020 and 2022, where we are today. So this also created another gap in the education staff. Because already we had, like myself, for example, I was teaching 6 classes of 60 learners each. So when we have COVID-19, we need this to the social distances in class. So a class of 60 is producing 3 classes of 20. Which means we need more teachers.
And that could not be done.
That was never done. And it means we ended up having like sessions, we divide them. It did not work. It's not working really. So
it was more work for the teacher. Pardon me.
More work for the teacher, and there's no salary on top of that. And also the environment the teacher is being subjected to work in is not even conducive, because there are no PPEs in place to protect the teacher
in the school
and the learners, of course.
In the school. So
when we go,
continue.
When we go back to the teachers, have always in a long-standing labor dispute with the employer, you know, because of the salaries, which were literally slashed from 540 to $30 beginning of the October 2018. So as teachers, we have insisted that the salary slash was unlawful, and that we are currently earning is way before the datum line, and we have not been willing to commit ourselves to remote teaching, and we are severely incapacitated to go back to schools. That's the major fight between us and the government.
So the struggle over salaries, is it the high school and primary teachers all together, or it's one section of the teaching profession?
It is all of us, because this was the least paid teacher, regardless of primary or secondary.
So now coming to the to the current disputes that we've been reading about in the newspapers, we have read that teachers have, for instance, gone on strike since the beginning of this academic, is it academic year or since the beginning of the year, effectively? I'm not sure whether you are starting a new academic year in Zimbabwe.
Yes, we are starting a new academic year, which was supposed to open in January.
Yeah.
We are not on strike per se.
Ah, okay.
But we cannot afford to go to school to work.
Yeah.
You understand the difference here?
I
We
understand.
are not. I am so ready to go and teach, but
Yeah.
I can't because I cannot afford to go there. Okay, because with this 200 I earn, right?
Yes.
I have a child who wants to go to school where she's supposed to pay, say, $500 before she goes to school.
Before she starts school, yeah. Yeah.
You see?
Yes.
And this family needs to eat.
Yes.
I have to pay medical bills. I have to pay this. I have to pay even electricity and everything. So I cannot even afford to go to work. How can I go and leave this child? Okay, fine. I sacrifice. I said, okay, I'm going to teach, which means I'm going to leave this child and go and teach someone else's child. Yeah. Is it practical?
It's not practical.
That's where we are. We are not on strike, really. We are tired of going on strike. I remember we did demonstrations since 2018. Myself, I was abducted and tortured.
Yeah. I remember that incident.
My president and other comrades in different unions, because in solidarity, we came together. We had a walk of 275 kilometers in protest. And during that walk, we were arrested 6 times. Okay, we did a camp on finance minister's office for. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, my internet.
We had.
Keeps dipping.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a camp of 7 good days at finance minister's office, staying there. Nobody take heed of it. We came together as all civil servants this time in 2019.
Yeah.
In 2020. We went and we were all chased away, we were arrested, and that doesn't work. This time we really want to work, but we can't.
Okay.
That's where we are.
That's the difference. So you have not filed any dispute with the labor court or the industrial court to say you are in a pay dispute with the government. There is no such at the moment. It is the issue of you as teachers being incapacitated to do your work.
We are incapacitated, and we have written to the ministry that our members, the teachers, cannot report for work, not because they don't want, but we are incapacitated. We cannot report for duty. And comrade, what we received from our dear government is that we received okay, I'll give you a brief background of what transpired in 2020. Yeah. As trade unions, we came together in May. We had a meeting, and we came out with suggestions to the government, what we thought could map a way forward for teachers. Yes. We suggested a lot about how we can manage the pandemic in schools, and how we can teachers can be remunerated before the schools open, and how everything, you know. Yeah. And the minister also, the permanent secretary also, she said, I quote, "The ministry is working on capacitating the teachers in preparation for the pandemic as learners return to school. The secretary, actually, she noted that there was urgent need to educate teachers in light of the pandemic so that they also get used to alternative modes of teaching.
Yes.
And she also noted that teachers must adapt to the new forms of learning and standards required to a classroom, which means they were supposed to empower these teachers so that they can adapt to this new method of teaching and learning. And also she went on to express that it is urgent to address the teacher, to capacitate the teachers.
Yes.
This was in June 2020. They knew and they did nothing. June 2020 up to June 2021, a year. And now it's 1.5 years without doing anything. After we wrote to them this year on 8 February 2022, she went on to write a letter to us and saying that the permanent secretary is going to fire the heads of schools, the teachers who did not report for duty. And at one time she mentioned that teachers must borrow money for transport to go to work. The whole PEMSEC to instruct teachers to borrow money.
To get into debt.
To pay, and to pay back with what?
You see, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. And then she went on to write a letter to us on 8 February to say you should report for work, what.
Yes.
So this is then she went on to tell us that if we don't report for work, we are considered as resigned. And then she went on to suspend everyone who did not report for duty. So as a union, my union, we sat down and responded to that, and we filed a court order, which we went to the High Court, and we wanted the suspension was suspended. And so right now we need to, we are still at home and we are not going back. Many threats are coming, and we fear that most heads of trade unions, they are no longer safe as they seek to zero the threats to come to individuals. Nobody is being mobilized. Like I rightfully said at the beginning, comrade, that this is not a strike. We cannot afford. Make us afford, then we go.
Then we can talk about increments and things like that.
Exactly. Then when the government made a 20% of increment, salary increment, and they said they are...
I've read about an offer on the table, or they have already implemented the 20%.
I don't know yet because nobody has received it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe for your February salaries, have you been paid for February, comrade?
There's nothing, comrade. There's nothing.
Okay.
It's not there.
Have they withheld your money for February, your salaries, or they are paying them?
Yes, we have received our salaries, and some we got between 18,000 and 21,000 Zim dollar, which is around $200 US.
Okay, all right. All right.
So this is what we have.
Yeah. So there is an offer on the table to bump up the civil servant salaries by 20%. In fact, I saw it that one of the politicians, I think it's the deputy president, who was singing about it, that he's going to solve the problem with the 20%. So the position of civil servants and teachers in particular is that this is does not even begin to address the challenges that you've put before them.
Yeah, not at all, because if we add everything they are offering, we will be having 370. We only want 540.
So they are still short.
We want 540, yeah, because now they are saying they will pay 20,000. That's around 150 for school fees. Yet our children, they pay 500 school fees. So, and also it's not everybody who has children. Some don't have. And what are they going to benefit when those with children benefiting? Are they encouraging everybody to have a child in school? Is it a way of increasing population?
Yeah, so over and above the 30%, they are going to assist with school fees.
They said they will pay school fees up to 3 children for 20,000. That is
a child.
I think that's the fees for schools in rural schools. And also they say they have a plan of building houses which goes over 5 years for teachers, and also to buy duty-free vehicles to use in 3 years without selling them, and only be sold to those with licenses. And teachers are saying, don't worry about buying us a house, don't worry about planning to buy a car for me. All I want is my 540. I will use it the way I want. If I want to pay for my school fees children, I will pay. If I don't want, I won't. Why can't you just give us the least salary we had in 2018? So this is the dispute. These offers, if they come on top of what we were earning in 2018, those will be so welcome. That's where we are. Yeah.
So what do you say to someone, or to an argument from the government or the pro-government people who would say, you know, that Zimbabwe's economy is not doing well, as Zimbabweans yourself, you should be understanding. What would you say to someone like that who says something like that?
The government is actually saying our economy is doing well. And this is portrayed by the finance minister, who said there is excess money. They have excess money. Yeah. So our question now is, if you have excess money, if you have surplus, why can't you just pay us a living wage? Since the economy is doing so well and you have surpluses, why can't you pay us our salaries?
Yes.
Yeah. So from that point of view,
go ahead.
It is us who is saying, no, the Zimbabwean economy is not doing well. But for my government, the economy is doing very well.
So the only
that's where the fight is now.
The only people they want to change are the civil servants and all the public servants. And then
yes.
Moving away a bit still on the economy, the rest of the political class, are their benefits much better than what the public officials, the workers are getting? If you look at now, members of parliament, those in the provinces and in the national legislature and upwards, are they getting good salaries where that you can see and say, but a politician gets this amount of money when a teacher is being
in terms of salaries? Yeah, thank you. In terms of salaries, nobody's getting something which is much. But those in parliaments and everything, they get allowances and they can survive. Like if they can manage to buy cars for everybody in the parliament.
Yes.
And they receive sitting allowances whenever they go to the House of Assembly and all. Yet their salaries are so little also. At one time, there was also a demonstration on that. People were boycotting going to the parliament because the salaries are way too low than they want.
So on paper, the elite look to be also earning very little, yet they have ways to cushion themselves.
Exactly.
I see. So yeah, no, coming back to the sit-in that is currently ongoing, how has been the response from teachers and public servants? Are they staying at home in numbers, or you now have people who want to go back?
Yes, trade unions, we have a challenge because some of the the teacher unions, they went to that meeting which offered 20%. And they're saying, well, yes, we have to accept and go back to work, and then we continue negotiating.
Okay.
So that's a bit of a setback. But the rest of civil servants, the teachers, they are at home. And we thank parents for keeping their children at home also, so that they won't cause any commotion at schools.
In the schools.
Because for those some they go but they don't teach. They go but they don't teach. So this is giving our learners a hard time, and they can do things which they mustn't be doing, like those teenagers in high school, if they don't have anybody to monitor them, they can indulge even in sexual intercourse at school premises. So which is not good, or even to hate each other. Fights can break, and they can hate each other because nobody is paying attention to them. So we encourage parents to keep their children at home for their own safety, and to encourage them to wait till we resolve this with the government. Okay. Right now, they send a letter to us, like if we don't report for work on tomorrow, 22, that's Tuesday. If you don't report for work on 22 February, we'll be considered as resigned. So we are still to fight that one. Okay.
So how many, just for interest's sake, how many teachers unions do we have now in Zimbabwe that are active, that are organized, that are recognized by the government?
We have almost 10.
10, okay. Oh, that's a lot for Zim.
It is a lot, because why do we have so many teacher unions in Zimbabwe? It is because the government is trying to neutralize those teacher unions which are there and which are active. So I remember when we formed our union in 2013, that same year, before we just go to register, there was a union registered in our name already. Really? So this is being done, this is being done to confuse teachers.
Yes.
When they subscribe, they will find themselves that they're subscribing to a different union.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, because I remember when Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, when it was formed, there was another union which was formed concurrently with it, and it's called Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, ARTUZ. So this was caused to confuse. When we formed ours, another one with the same name was formed, and 2 more briefcase trade unions, just to confuse the situation. Right now, they accuse us of too many, are confused. That's why I have too many, and they try to dismiss us. So for us to keep that, we came together as these trade unions and say, let's form a federation which caters only for our teacher grievances. And we said a federation of Zimbabwe education unions.
Okay.
Whereby we our teachers register to this federation. Those trade unions, they register to the federation. This federation will address the sector specific grievances. Like we have the rural retention and teaching allowances, bush allowances, something like that, specifically to the teacher. And we have a new curriculum which came into place, and this new curriculum needs a lot of time and attention. So we'll need to discuss. We also have the external examinations, which our teachers are going to invigilate. We need to be at a position to discuss funding towards that kind of contracts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So this is where we are now.
So the federation is, the Teachers Federation, the Federation of Education Trade Unions, does it then affiliate further to the National Federation?
For now, because we are in the process of building it up, we will discuss on how which organization or which federations we can be affiliated to. But for now, each union can decide to subscribe. For example, us, we are subscribed to ZCTU.
Yes. Also within the Federation
Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions.
So within the Federation of Education Unions, we have teachers unions from different federations.
Yeah, Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions.
Yeah. I know ZCTU. Yeah, I know ZCTU.
Yes. So we are an affiliate there, and we also come together to further our grievances.
Okay. All right. No, I think for now, I think we have spent, I think my line is very unstable today. I don't know why. My internet, I can see that my picture keeps disappearing on my side, but I want to thank you for speaking to us and giving us insight. I think our viewers and people who will listen to this recording will come out with more understanding of the current Zimbabwe crisis in terms of the public sector workers being unable to go to work, as you put it. I thought it was a strike action, but I've been corrected by you to say you are merely saying you cannot afford to go to work.
Yeah, of course, technically it's kind of strike.
Thanks, comrade, and we'll see each other on the other platforms.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy your day.
Sure, bye.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here.
Sure.